You mentioned Peter Crone. What I know of Peter is he is the mind architect. And I'd love to hear what your experience was like going through his program and your reasons for going in the first place.
It's funny, I was not funny, but I love personal development, and it's just been so enriching for me as my being myself, but to be able to bring that into my work with my patients. But also I run a business, so just being able to understand people, because everything's people. Like, it's never the behavior, it's always the emotion behind it. And I think, like, in a very simplistic way, once you look at things through that lens, and how we do anything is how we do everything. So it translates across to all aspects of our lives. And 5 years ago, life was crazy. Like, my business, 5 years down the track, I was really at a point at the end of last year, I was very burnt out. We'd survived 2 years of lockdown, but this feeling of why am I still struggling, and feeling like we're just surviving, not thriving. And it was just, I was looking for something to help guide me. And in the past, it had been personal development that had really opened up and helped me unlock just that stagnation, that feeling of, I don't know where I'm going. In 2019, my career and its trajectory was going on this really incredible path, and I still feel like I'm lost. It's quicksand, and I don't know where I'm going with what I'm doing. I have all of these amazing skill sets, and I want to help people, and I feel like I can do so much more than just in my treatment room. So that is, I happened to be sent one of his podcasts, and it really struck me. He interviewed Kerwin Ray, and I then signed up to do a mastermind with Kerwin and his team, a business mastermind, because I thought that could help me just sharpen my axe and just really work through some of the challenges I was facing in my business. And then sadly, the day before I was meant to join his group, I got the news that he'd passed away, and it impacted in a very deep emotional way. Just, I felt like, oh God, like, I don't know where to go now. I don't know what I'm doing. And boom, like, the mastermind was just, it all just talk about synchronicities. I can't tell you, there are so many things that landed me where I did in this particular mastermind, and the timing and the dates, extraordinary. Like, it was very divinely synchronized. I, without a doubt, know that there were some bigger powers at play that landed me there. And I was fortunate enough to be chosen by Peter to be coached. There's a big group, there's hundreds of people, and intuitively feels into who he'll work with. And then so much of the mastermind is watching other people be coached, and you learn so much by seeing other people going through what they're going through with him. And the way the basis of his work is, we all come into our lives with constraints. There's 10 main ones. He's writing a book, so I think I know what the 10 are, because they tend to be the same 10 things that we all work through or are challenged by in our lives. But the biggest three for me was, I'm not safe, I'm not lovable, and I'm not worthy. So much of my work with Peter and working through all of the theory was dissolving what he calls, most simply, the bullshit stories that then shape our reality, basically, in the simplest way. And it's been quite the ride, like an absolute roller coaster, where there's so much that comes up that's just our ego talking, and our ego puts up a really strong fight and resistance when we're trying to release it, to actually get to the truth of all of those things and get to access that part of ourselves that really is who we are, that pure being of infinite joy, love, possibility, abundance, like all the things that we all strive for and we think's out there, but it's genuinely inside of us.
Oh my gosh, I'd love to do that. Sounds awesome. The cool thing when I hear you talk through it is, first of all, like, the energy shift of, like, how traumatic it was on the process of getting into this program, and then the benefits of going through it, and, like, cutting out the bullshit. A lot of it is really just our own inner monologue And things that pop to mind for me that might be relevant would be like, you're just not good enough. You're just not good enough. You're just not good enough. And some of the work I've done around why I think that is related to what came up in the past, like being packed off to a boarding school, aged 8 years old, and suddenly you don't have any primary caregivers anywhere near you, and you think you've been like booted out of the tribe. It's like, okay, well, maybe I'll do well at school, or I'll do well at sport, or whatever you try and like fill that gap with, but like nothing changes essentially. And I wonder if that, well, it'd be a very interesting thing for me to go and do a course like that. What I would like to commend you for, Jel, is this idea of actually doing it, because we can sit around until, the end of time saying, oh, I'd like to do this or I'd like to do that. But something stops us sometimes. It's that idea of like procrastination. Was there any moments where you thought, oh, I don't want to go and do this? Or was there any hard things that you realized you've been telling yourself and you were incorrect in a sense? Like, how do you actually go and do it?
Do you know what, Jake? There was just never a doubt in my mind that
Awesome.
That's what I needed to. It's not even I wanted to do. It wasn't a need. I want to do this. My soul yearns for answers, and I want to be free. I want to be free of all these things that hold me back in life. I was getting up at 2 a.m. twice a week, every fortnight, and going through the night because I was so focused on being there in the container, in the energy of Peter and his team and the people in that group, because it just wasn't the same to sit and watch a recording back, because there was so much that you're processing. And as he downloads so fast, it just has been like quantum leaping, the things that have shifted and moved. And it was not like, there were some really scary, hairy moments of really being confronted with your innermost, deepest stuff, and just trust and patience and letting that move through so that it can transmute and dissolve. And I think that's been the biggest gift that I've come away with. There's been so many, but learning how to truly transmute those things, the energy of it, and letting it move through me, because so much gets just stuck and stored in our bodies. And how fascinating. I'm a body worker that helps people move energy through their bodies, but I didn't know how to do it for myself. Like, that was really just one of my biggest moments of, wow, like there's so many people I've helped for over 2 decades, but never really truly understood what that means. And now that I have that ability and understanding and awareness, what I'm able to do on the table is just taken like a whole nother level of ability to access people's capacity to heal and be free, ultimately free their bodies and minds of the things that ail them.